Abu. I don't know.
Right inside. Oh, up inside. Oh, what's this?
Oh, nothing.
And you never see a young consem no more na yenchre de ekoso ewo amagana se sia na ye de betremo ewo Ablekuma North said de Ghana fo nyina anim emun sensem edoso yie pa bato ye nyina to santre ekwokoto ye ewo ye last year ni mo ye 2024 no kwawi akire Ablekuma North nko ani MP ema ni mienu obi aso wampini otom NDC oba ne di animu ena fenso no NPP oba ne di animu wo bia se won print yeti wo sesi ya no wodi wani kyerem wa Ablekuma North a eye MPless sana ebi ebeka no na no na akwakopie mo koto ene ho nsensem anyina nso yanim se abato komisan no wahwese nyame ya adom a wo monto santere ya July busumi de toso edu mienu no nkoto aba enyi emrahye bedwamni a wo begina ho 19 polling stations ena ewo ho na no nanam so ma opani a wodi NPP animo na na akua free wo tabiri nsem no na wo kyerem se ekwan yi a sabi abato komisan wo fa so na wo de akwakoye na sem no e wo high court dadanti wonim de eti anka wo se wo musa kokanya nsem no mo se ke ye kwakoto ana se bibi etesa na so aba beto dwa se court wa bosa nsem nyina egu na akwakowie Justice Ali Baba abato te akonwa ni mo no wo kyerem se sabi asem ni mu nsuo no esha ne saye sunti no na ankwankoba se abato no won betimi atintim so da no abato a ekoso a na wo mo hwe ni mo se nka ye besan so akan aba ni biem firi se wo bi age ne ho se wawi ni dia ene na nka abato no wo mo nkonko kan biem no ankwankoba ne sa abase rerun na eba so nti wo se wo mo Ghana fo nyina titru ene Ablekuma North fo eto santie na wo mutimi ekokohwe na wo mo hunu de ekoso ewo ho na ye hwe na ye ne political scientist Dr. Jonathan Asante ochre atwetwe nkomo na waboa ye ewo ho firi se de ekoso e asem ntem ho ase kakra ya ama ne ho mere so ewo sa ensem hu opani me pacho woti yenka ya moajo eba Angel TV Angel FM so me pacho woti menka abusa me hwese mensa yensa ebesan so aka no na waboa ye ewo ho na wo mo atimi wayi yensam ya no kakra de amaye okay etino ya me fa sho apombo ko de
na no mo na onso e
Yankopon adom yenso ye ho ye pa anwumre de enti a yabo opunu mu a ye ne wo eba betwetwe nkomoi efa NPP nsem a wo mo de kokodan high court a aba beto dwa se high court o ma dismiss case no anye bia wayo opani a wawe dare ewo amanyosem no hu ne se ne kwan so eno no
yo bina ba mda wase mamintia wotiefo ne wahwefo nyina anwumre I'm saying, in terms of communication, MPP among communication, the correct answer that I'm papa. I'm saying, court also some level of ambiguity be baby. In the mind of MPP, the General Secretary, the Director of Elections, if your mind say court will say, oh, sir, police stations now can continue, or continue. But the court can be said, go and continue with coalition. It didn't say, court him say bone of contention I did was say and I did was say. So as long as there was that particular bone of contention along the line, not I say I was say funny and funny no more baby a near man a document anyhow. Now omatras no masha no then they'll be able to declare. Until as it went on, unfortunately, on my IPAC meetings, fortunately, on my IPAC meetings, a mama said, "She be a year, Juma, a what for me." Now, all of a sudden, NPP said that was not exactly what was agreed at IPAC. Until if that is the case, let us say GC has been very unprincipled. A whole member NPP before, Atia said, they have been served the very poison that they helped to create. They have been served a portion of the very poison that they helped to create. Some of us have been very consistent with respect to the incompetence displayed by the current crop of commissioners. And then you find yourself in opposition. You are saying that the EC is very unprincipled, and you don't even mind if whatever the chairman of the NDC said some few weeks ago, if they are removed, that you don't really mind. Really? How come? And you think that you are very principled? You see, at the end of the day, court said they should continue with coalition. Now, the Abetano and then the EC, any family not saying will say no. NDC for proposing over 50-something to be redone. NPP was also proposing, I think, 30-something at first. Now, EC at Nancy will say no. Some number of polling stations, not presiding officer, ABC, ADNC, into say by the area, these 19 polling stations should be rerun. If you believe in yourself, say you really won the elections at that particular place there, I don't think say NPP should be afraid. It doesn't matter if the NDC is in government. We were in this country when some of us said, your friend is saying, Asin North by-election was going to be the sortition ground, the testing grounds for the fortunes of the NPP come the 2024 elections. And that they were going to lose miserably. I said that, and they lost miserably as well. They were in government. So if indeed they won the elections at that particular place there, I don't see why they should be afraid. Besides, you have to go, as I said, you are losing out of bad faith.
Okay.
And you see, unless you want to think, say, oh, 88, no do any come by the idea, I say they want to go about Snata, so Dibu, not theater. The NDC also thinks, say, they need that in terms of administrative purposes, in terms of raising revenue for the party coffers. You need an MP at that particular place. And you know, I believe it is just unfortunate 6 months they don't have a representation. And now we have gotten to a point where there is the need for clarity to be made. And so I believe we may have to fix this particular problem before we look into the incompetencies of the EC.
Opani adia baako a manyane ntie se party ni mpanimfo ni bi nso omusuro ene se party in power de woyɛ den no wakɔ akɔkirim no de na hwe fam already no de omo esusu ni se wo ma wini eno ho nsɛm no enya nkonkogu ye ma rama se wo mpene so ma yɛ nsɛm bebre na yɛnsa nkonko to no foforo de omo fie no woni wo mo nya adwene wɔ kwan bi so.
And until I may analysis of Mautia said, NPP was in government. The by-election, they lost at Asin North. They were in government, they won at what is the place? Akutia, maybe our MP Baku, Eka baby, no. So they won. That was in Ashanti region. But NDC appreciated in vote over 1,300 or so. So that was in itself indicative of what was to happen in the near future. I think you have the police, they are supposed to be there. You should have your agent, have your people on the ground. Make sure your agent, as you always do, are taken care of. I want to believe, psychologically, they think, they don't need that particular seat for anything. After all, it won't change anything. It won't change the fact that the NDC together with the independent MPs, they have the two-thirds majority in parliament. So whether 88 or 89, ebia psychological fix it. But administratively, also what you say, when you have an MP in a particular area, the likelihood say in the next elections you bet you win in a high. And once you have a representation there, those people will help. It means on the ground you have an MP, and they can liaise with the people at the grassroots to ensure several structures of the party about working over there. But just to throw your hands in despair, thinking say I don't believe it is out of good faith.
Na chese ene de meti wase bi enu so ne se woni wo mo enya dwene se wo mo prese be ya electoral commission maame no yenyini mfiri.
Bisabio
Te na chese meti wase yi a na woni wo mo enkoya dwene e wo kole e mo kole se EC boss yenyini mfiri.
Oh, as for EC boss there, I've been very consistent. Say she has been very incompetent. There have been certain unguarded statements from Dr. Bossman, Mr. Tete himself. I mean, these people have displayed incompetence. Even they are mathematically disoriented sometimes. Things that you need to have a data. I mean, look at 2020 elections. What percentage did Mr. Mahama lose the elections? What percentage did Mr. Kufuor win the elections with? With all these manipulations and amendments that they made along the line before declaring, I have said, I start to be corrected, but statistically, for me, it doesn't appear possible, say, you will have a hanged parliament and one party will win outright. It doesn't sync well with me. That is why I believe, over there, I don't think they can just be radically removed. No, you must follow the constitutional processes. And that, for me, should start from a body of what? Inquiry. A committee or a commission of inquiry to do a forensic audit. Let people come, witnesses come and give certain things. Biometric devices here, up till now, Mr. Asiadun Katia was asking, say, number so that Obi Eko Yusu the Bibia, Obi a bit me attract must that be for security reasons. So if you ask Imani Africa, for example, I want me to say procurement breaches here and there. So it means that place itself, they are sitting on a time bomb. And you see, in terms of delayed collation, I don't think it was by accident. It was something that was planned. In the 1992 and above, even when we did not have biometric way, there has been a systematic plan in terms of delayed collation as it were to turn around, the results of the election. That is something that ought to be investigated. And I don't want to think, in the sense that NDC, you have won the election and you think all background. No. The absence of war does not mean the presence of peace. This EC can plunge us into chaos. And so it doesn't have to be the chairman of the NDC telling everybody, those people must leave. Some of us have been very consistent. We are saying, they don't. I mean, what independence that say what conduct elections in 2020, and every day on daily basis, wherever you went, you had body security men, soldiers, police, bodyguarding you. Where am I? I never heard that with respect to Dr. Afarijan. I don't they have been very, very incompetent. It doesn't matter that 2024 elections went as it should be. Why in the whole of the 2024 elections, in the whole of the 1992 up to this point, former President Akufo-Addo has presided over 2 elections in which many people have died. That ought to be investigated so that we'll be able to say, okay, these are A, B, C, and D. Until I to repeat these errors. See, I never see a true abandonment as some but I don't interest. I don't interest what to be NC. In the 2012 election petition, the Supreme Court ruling on the buy and my young said no. If I say, NHIS card here, they should be taken out. ABC and D reforms were proposed, which led to Mr. Akufo-Addo winning the 2016 elections. But we need to ensure that our electoral system is foolproof because that is the only source for which our democracy can grow.
Any missa say history repeating one your Central Kofine Akpafu any lekpe any lolobi ediana in fact history and repeating on
Incompetence almost started displaying SAR the point is that SAR was in the interest of the then government. Some kokotwa ombe lucy. So strategically you don't expect to say obidibia about any. As long as a UCA mistake the government will not in any way allow them to go and conduct SAR. Because if they are done so, then it means to say that one majority or no more of parliament, they will lose it. Then it means how are they going to run the government in terms of the legislature? So that one, strategically, it was a good omen for the NPP, a bad omen for the NDC. And it was part of the inefficiency and the incompetence of the Electoral Commission. And some incompetence, and I am very consistent. The Electoral Commission has been very consistent in terms of incompetency. And yentimi antinasi anyashahai as for mine, sir, you are going to keep such people who have displayed all these inefficiencies and incompetencies over the period. They will definitely plunge us into some kind of chaos. So I believe it's and it's a current government. How do you know? Say, oh, I have won, and so that is it. No, please. Suddenly, the NPP has turned around against the EC. And no more criticizing EC when they were in government. Not a single day. Today, you are saying they are unprincipled, for which reason you don't mind if they are booted out. I don't think that is a principle call from the NPP. It is not. It is a convenient call because now they are inconvenienced. So some of us have been very principled in our call for the current commissioners to be taken through whatever process. If they have no shame, some of them can easily decide to resign. I mean, ordinary mathematical computation, you could get them wrong. I mean, that is something unbelievable.
Where the answer ni beja wa mawakono okasemono oka BBFI say ehun be hia say omo ekokogina mu na omo eto se de tie bia no e wose womo ye but osan so ka BB fa parliament bia na omo susu say already ne kra no omo nipa e wo hodo kra no shadada eti enkonkosi hwe wonya shion so say bia omadwene mu no de enti omaye say omo nnakra nkonkogina no se the next elections no Ablekuma North for no bedrin say NDC for ni woman ni ye enu nti no woman kwankogina mu enti e beboa wo mu in a way.
Well, they are all speculations, but we share the goodwill abine and was a siana in terms of say bia CD to the dollar, CD na appreciate against the dollar and never boy before I met tono say siano the metono e buono aba for mama. I don't spend as much as I used to spend. What you are saying in terms of the what's it called the debt to GDP, about from our foreign debt component, about 40% according to the president, and so many other interventions that taking place. Inflation about from around 13.something%. So, but we still have to ensure say as a nation we grow because there are certain areas that people are still selling things at higher prices. I was sitting down this morning, someone said, what can government do? Because sometimes, these are all important things. And we should be we expected significant change. But control pricing, and that has its own challenges. I believe if government so minds to me, I empower some of these big companies. Let them bring in the things that we need. It will force these retailers and small wholesalers to bring their prices down so that the Ghanaian will be the beneficiary of that. If Ablekuma North are a part of Ghana, and we are seeing some of these, positive development there, then it doesn't matter whether they represent or they don't represent. It means to say they will still have the goodwill of the people. But you see, it is always good to have an MP that is within your party in an area. Because one, every month, we put your contribution into the coffers of the party at the national level. And you are running the affairs of the party. So if you don't have any, so you have to calculate 4 years, the kind of money as, party you are going to lose that contribution from that particular MP. And having these administrative structures in place and having an MP is always a plus. It's always a plus. As bad as it may be, it is always a plus to have an MP. That is the more reason why all those minor parties, they are not surviving because they don't have representation. And if you don't have any representation, it means you're not going to have structures in place. So forever, until something else happens, we are going to have this two-pronged approach to our elections, NPP, NDC. So if you have a representation, until you say NPP paying flat national money and say, oh, we are playing the victim card to our advantage there. In the end, you are going to lose a lot of resources. And that is something they must think about. They should go fight for it, and if they lose, it's okay. If they win, they could win. But they are afraid to say the goodwill of the president, the party in government, will prevent the people from voting for them. Apart from that, this issue of accountability, scandal here, scandal there, so NPP is no longer an attractive party. They are not an attractive party. And in terms of style of criticism, Oman started, they started with this belligerence in Tokwa, but Ghanaians are seeing in between the lines and they feel say this is not something that they need for now, right? Because I mean, what do I care that much? If corruption is going down, if the approval rating of the president is very high, it doesn't forebode well for the NPP.
Okay, Opani yabada se de wasi ha mrepam bibichi ya adwen so bi ma yebesan so aba ho. Okay. Abusia for Penny outing political scientist Dr. Jonathan Asante Ochre and at Yenene Twitwin Komo se a waboye ebie niamani so edi amaye ama.